have to associate one thing with another thing. To see a thing in our mind or to recall or to refresh our memory, we have to. For this, so you fail at this. But already, if you're trying for this, your mind will accept that okay, this is the target, so I have to give the effort for the lower level. So the bigger the attempt you take, the higher the reward is gonna be. So, for your mind and your mental capacity, your faculty of mind to achieve for this, so you fail at this. But already, if you're trying for this, your mind will accept that okay, this is the target, so I have to give the effort. Also mentions that how concentration can fulfill your inner and worldly desires. What he says is why, as humans, we give up when we have the infinite resources. For example, if you have infinite amount of money, would you be able to stop for spending it or giving it or doing anything that you want to do with money? If you know that the supply is infinite, same like that, the power within us is infinite, but we are so poor in using that, we become pathetic. We become literally pathetic about this thing. That we have the infinite resources within us, but we dare losing everything, rotting it in the corner of our inner self. We wrote ourselves, our inner self, our talent, our power, what is harnessed inside us. We do not compose it. We don't even bother to focus it. We don't even know that it is there. Most of us even die without realizing that the power is there. We just hear from people, then we don't associate it with us. We don't try to contemplate that power from within us, and then what we can do is infinite. Imagine people creating shuttles, rockets, new technologies, in new fighter jets, things you can't even fathom like 5 years ago. Right now, because of the technology of this media power, you are seeing them because they develop and they come out in the media very straight away. So imagine those people. These were developed by human beings. They are not superhumans. Trust me. It's just they starting doing and contemplating things and started to join things in their mind, in their intellect. Intellect is not associated with someone very intelligent. Intellect is associated with you, me, everyone, normal people. It's just they start using it, start focusing it, concentrating it in a particular direction, and they get the results and they achieve for the highest. They attain the highest because they attempted the highest. So the writer is mentioning here that we are going to be attracting things that we want by focus, by concentration on a central focal point. That is why he explained the whole book, the power of concentration, how important it is. So that means we can attract anything towards us if we want to focus it on that point. Even that's funny, right now I'm getting distracted by focusing on certain other points apart from this as soon as I'm thinking of attracting things. So the next part he says, a strong man control conditions. For example, if I am distracted by my surroundings, I'm not a strong person. I'll be distracted easily, and most of us are weak in that sense. That is why we have to practice and get the knowledge from these valuable notes that I have made from these valuable books and scholars. We have to understand the depth what they are saying. It's not just a book, it is what we are explaining you inside the depth of those lines. So by mere focusing we can attract anything we want, because as from the very beginning of this book to the end we've been discussing that we can attract anything we want in our life, and we can become anything we want to achieve in our physical or in our intellectual being. So it is down to us how we focus, how we concentrate. The next part with my beautiful handwriting is about a concentrated will development. Again, W-I-L-L, will, your will. How to develop a concentrated will. You can have a strong will, maybe, when you have developed, but if it is not concentrated on a single point, what is it a use of? There is no use of a will that is distracted. You can be strong-willed person and you are distracted by every other thing. What's the point? So how to develop that combination, strong will with the concentration, with the power of concentration. So you will be, and your will be strong, impenetrable, but with the power of focal concentration on one point, on your targets. The writer again gives you two more exercises. One of them is funny. I tried, and initially it was looking so serious to me, but then I laughed and I gave up. Trust me, I gave up on it. What she says is, close the door, sit in front of your door in a quiet room, and focus on the doorknob, on the door handle or the doorknob. Continuously trying seeing that. That's a very serious point, to be honest. I was having a non-concentrated will to do that. That's why I was not able to do in few days. So what he says, you have to keep starting doing it for 5 minutes to 10 to 15 minutes. Initially you will, as usual, as I say to you always, you will give up. There is no way for 15 minutes without distraction in your mind you will be able to see that. You will be able to see that, sit down and just staring that with other thoughts coming and going into your mind, into your intellect, distracting you for different things. And you'll be feeling like, what a foolish I am, just looking at this doorknob. What a knob I am. So you will be feeling of yourself like that. But actually that after few days, after few weeks, you will realize that how powerful you have become about focusing on certain tasks, focusing on certain thoughts, and bringing those thoughts and ideals to the reality. That's the power of this concentration. The next exercise, he's saying that you have to bring out cards. Everyone has played cards or ever seen that, at least deck of cards. Try to put one card above the other one with a very steady hand without moving your hands, and every card should be exactly placed on the other card. It has to be a very slow motion because the card cannot be placed by holding the card below it, and it has to fit on the card below and above it. So you have to keep putting the cards slowly. Mostly there are 52 cards in a deck, or it can be even 10 cards, but you have to keep doing that exercise until your hands are steady, your focus is there, and you are able to put the cards in order, all the cards in one alignment. That's gonna take a hell of a lot out of you. So again, these two exercises will help you focus your muscle power, your mind, your intellect on one focal point. Thank you. In the last part, I don't want to miscalculate this part. This is very important. That is why I will be reading that paragraph or 2-3 lines literally by dictation of what I have written exactly. So I don't want to portray I am very intelligent, I am going to be like this, because this is very important. So, in this one, the notes are we take care of our car more than our mind and body. This is only our own valuable property. Our body and our mind, our brain, our physical body is more valuable thing than any other thing. But what he says, if we have a car, we will take care of it so much, we will love it, we will take care of it, we'll clean it, we'll take it to the garage regularly, we will take care of every single thing, and I've been there, trust me. Over anything, you will do that. It's just a metaphor, it's not about car. Mean anything, physical thing, we will take care of it more than our body. What we should be focusing on, forget about everything, first priority should be our body and our mind. That's what our first priority should be always. But we are lacking in the most valuable thing to take care of it. And we are focusing on the least valuable thing. That's the human mind we are having right now in this current world. The next point he's saying, the failure believes that luck and circumstances are against them. Most of us fail in certain attempts. When I say most of us fail, means what I mean to say is that we don't even attempt. That's why we are a failure in certain attempts. You are a failure in certain attempts because you never start. And you think I am a failure or I didn't achieve anything because you never started. And trust me, 90% of you would have achieved something if you kept starting again and again. That's the key. So the failure just keep thinking, okay, the conditions around me, the circumstances, oh my bad luck, they start blaming these things. And they always will, from the beginning to the infinity of eternity. They will start and keep doing that. Blaming others, situations, circumstances, destiny, luck, whatever you name it. They will continuously blame the web of destiny. They will never start to woven in their own web or even small step in it. Never. So try changing this belief and mindset. The last point in this book that we will be discussing is that, or not discussing, just a line that we'll be going through. It is up to you whether you join the army of I can or I cannot. Here it is. So down to you what you want to tell your mind, intellect and inner self. You can keep saying I can or I cannot. Once you start saying I can and add another word, I will, then you see the difference. You will not be able to even put down yourself, because once you start saying to yourself I can and I will, trust me, you will be egoistic about yourself. And when a man is egoistic, man means a female man, a human person, a human being is egoistic. Trust me, they will go to any limit to prove themselves right. When you want to prove yourself right and you are egoistic about yourself enough that you don't want to be ashamed in front of you when you are standing in front of the mirror, you will bring about all the powers from within you. Then you will be shocked that why did I not do that before? Hope that made sense to you and you have learned some lot positive and strengthful things in your life right now. Thank you very much. Again, in the end, please give me your feedback. That is very much needed. Positive, negative doesn't matter to me. The condition of the comments and your feedback does not matter to me. What matters to me is that you give it so I can improve it for you. So let's work on it together and maximum value for you. Thank you very much. The writer is telling about controlling your muscular movements and your gestures, your face movement, your hand movement. Welcome back again, guys, to the next episode of Oracle of Wisdom. The same book, Power of Concentration, is a quite long book, obviously, and but the knowledge in it is literally so much valuable. It's worth it. So, as promised, the next chapter is about not talking about just what is concentration, why should we have it, and why we are lacking it. So the next chapter is how to attain it. The writer in this book has further explained few exercises. We will be discussing those exercises with you now.
Out of them, the first exercise is, the writer says, gain control of your muscular movements. Sit still in comfortable chair without any muscular movement. Start from 5 minutes slowly to the 15 minutes. You have to take a very comfortable chair. Now here, it's a contradictory thing you're going to be hearing from me in my other podcast, because in another book I read totally opposite of it, to gain the divine knowledge, that you have to sit in a uncomfortable chair. But because we are talking about only this book, as per the writer, we are not giving our opinions. So what he says, you have to sit in a very comfortable chair, relax your muscles. For example, this is quite a comfortable chair which I'm sitting on, having a sweet cushion. So you can sit on a chair, relax your muscles, breathe in, breathe out relaxedly, and start this exercise from 5 minutes a day and take it to the level of 15 minutes, because it's not easy. It seems easy to sit in the same position without moving your muscles and keeping them relaxed as well. It's not about sitting in the same position, but also to keep your muscles relaxed, not making yourself still or stiff. Okay? It's not about standing still, sitting still. It's about making your mind in a position where you're calm, your muscles are calm, you're not feeling a pressure of sitting straight in one posture. So that's a hectic thing to start from 1 to 5 and then to 15 minutes. The next exercise he's saying, sit on a chair, chin up, shoulders back. Chin up, shoulders back. Stretch your right arm up, and see it to your head to the right, and then do same for left arm. So what he says is that you have to keep your right arm up, chin up, shoulders back, and then you have to look at your hand, and in your hand you have to keep looking at the tip of your finger. When you're stretching your hand out, it has to be straight. Obviously, it's not coming in the camera, my fingertips. So if your hands are like this, you have to keep looking at your fingers on the right side. Okay? But you have to do it from 5-10 minutes consecutively every day. Initially, it's going to be a struggle. You have to focus. The point is not keeping your head straight and finger straight or your hand straight. The point is looking at your fingers consecutively, the tip of your finger, consecutively for a same amount of time every day, between 5, 10 and then 15 minutes. The same thing you have to do with your left hand, and turning your neck towards your left hand, and then watching your fingertip consecutively. It's not easy, guys, trust me. I've been trying for a few days. I haven't been gone to the level of 15 minutes yet. So doing 5 minutes starting from 1 minute is best. So even the writer knows that starting from 1 minute and doing it for 5 minutes is best. I've been doing that for like 2-3 minutes consecutively. I haven't been able to go to a level of 5 minutes yet, because I've just started a few days back. So I have not given up, like kind of a thing. It's like not easy to concentrate for 15 minutes, literally. You can do for one day, every day, staying on the same passion level, concentration level. Trust me, once you overcome these things, your mindset is at a very different level to see the world around you, how you're going to react to the things around you, because your muscles are in your control, your instincts are in your control then. So the next exercise, writer says that fill glass of water, hold with fingers, and put your arm directly in front of you without any noticeable movement. Start from 1 minute to 5 minutes. Again, you have to hold a glass of water in front of you like this. You can hold it like for 30 seconds, 1 minute, but once the 2 minute time frame is gone, trust me, you're gonna have your, even if you're a bodybuilder or a muscular exercise freak, anything you do, doing this for 5 minutes consecutively with one hand and then with the other hand, 5 minutes, 10 minutes every day, it's literally, it puts a lot of strain. But it's not about holding it, it's about holding it without the movement, without any shaky moments. You have to hold it without any movements and keeping yourself, your mind, without strain on your shoulders, on your muscles. Without strain, that's the key. You have to be able to do it with practice, that you're not feeling any strain. You are very calm in your position, holding the glass first with one hand and then to the other hand. So that's going to take a lot of toll on your muscles. The next exercise the writer is telling about controlling your muscular movements. and your gestures, your face movement, your hand movements, your shoulders, your jerky movements, you have to take control of them every day. Slowly and steadily, you will start seeing that you make very unnecessary movements. Even in my podcast, in my videos, I realized that I have made a lot of unnecessary movements because they were my instincts, because I get passionate about discussing these things with you. And sometime I could have controlled those movements, but unintentionally, because they are my habits, they are my instincts. So as we will discuss, instincts are from animals, as an animal, but as humans we have been given the power to control those instincts and use them in our favor. So we have to try to do that. If I don't want to use these hand movements in a certain way, I should be able to control them. Not when I'm talking to you unintentionally, I'll start doing this, waving my hands right and left. Okay, so focus on what unintentional movements, what unnecessary movements we are doing. Then he says that you have to focus on others as well. You have to watch others, not just talking and discussing. We have to watch others' movement. What do you see bad moments in them? Then try to analyze yourself. Do you do the same things? Then focus on stopping those moments, controlling those moments. You will be the master of your muscular movements, not just muscular movements, your instinctual behavior. You will master that. So in the next part, he says that try every day putting your attention on and concentration on uninterested object, as it requires more focus. For example, if I want to put a effort to concentrate on this notebook, on these notes, it is very easy for me because I love these notes. I love it because I have created it with my own efforts. It is more easier to go through them. But if I want to intentionally hold this mouse and start looking at the light on the back of it, okay, this infrared light, this doesn't interest me. But for 5 minutes, can I do that? Look at this continuously? No, because this is an uninterested object. Doing this consecutively for 5 minutes is going to enhance the power of my concentration. Means if I have been given a task in my life, and even if I give a task to myself to concentrate on and I have to focus on that, even if I don't like it, I will be able to perform that task with full concentration. It's just an example of that. So this will give you power enough when you can focus on things that you don't want to do. Because I was hearing a podcast that you have to have discipline in your life, but discipline is not like doing everything what you do every day with a certain amount of time, with certain amount of disciplined format. That's not discipline. Discipline is when you don't want to do certain things and you still do it, when you're hating to do it but you still do it. That's called discipline. So it's kind of a same simile. It's a simile that the writer is creating, that you will be able to use your intentions, your powers, your inner powers, that you can do what you don't like at all, but in a manner that you like it, you love it. This is the exercise to teach you that when you don't like something, but you still are able to do that with full power and concentration. That's called a disciplined mindset. So with this exercise, you will be able to impose your discipline on your inner self. In the next part, the writer explains that if you can control yourself, when he's talking about bodily exercises, he says that it doesn't matter what you do with yourself. It is not only going to affect you when you are controlling yourself, because then you can control others as well. Why he's saying this? Because, for example, if I react on something with someone aggressively, the other person is gonna react to my actions, my anger, and that can be very aggressive or very putting away from me, a push away reaction as well. Okay, but if I choose to react in a way, in a calm way, the reaction of the other person is going to be different. Then that means whatever action or reaction I give, based on that I will be controlling the reaction of the other party. So I can control the other person with the help of control on myself. So it is a very deep thing to understand. If we control ourselves, we can control all our surroundings the way we want, the way we wish, only by changing ourselves, by having the control on ourselves. So in the next part he says, concentrate on smells and odor for example, a certain kind of smell in garden. When you go into gardens or any space like that where you are going to be calm, rivers, lakeside or seasides, you try to focus on a certain kind of smell, because in that kind of place you will have so many odors, like different kind of flowers, different kind of smells on a beach, but try to focus on one certain kind of smell and only try to smell that part, so you can focus on certain things. Considering this smell metaphor, that he's trying to give you some information that, okay, we should try to focus on certain kind of smell. This is just an exercise he's telling you, that this helps you to control your mind, to focus on one thing. He has given a very intimidating or very, I will say, contradictory example as well. That's the last example he has given in this podcast. I will tell you the last example he has shown us. That's I think that's a kind of contradictory. So the next example, he's saying that exercise, concentrate, this is the one that I'm talking about, concentrate on beating of heart. Try focus on picturing leaving this amazing organ and going towards a certain organ. This is a contradictory thing, because I'm not sure that we should be exercising it or not, or we can, it's up to us as human beings, but it's just exercise. But what he's saying is we should try to focus on listening our own heartbeat, because by listening to our own heartbeat, that actually it is possible. You can, when you're in total silence, you can even feel your heartbeat. Feeling your heartbeat is kind of a listening your heartbeat. What he's saying is not only listening or concentrating on focusing on your heartbeat, but when you are focusing on your heartbeat, you have to focus with practice, obviously slowly and slowly. You have to practice to see that if the blood is going out of this organ, this heart, this machine, this pumping machine, heart, and then going towards certain parts of our body, means towards our shoulders, towards our other parts of body. That's a very intimidating thing when you read about it and you start focusing on it. As a human being, you don't think about that way. So you have to practice so calmly. Imagine the level of concentration he wants us to achieve. He wants us to achieve. Imagine the height of that not only listening the heartbeat, seeing and feeling that the blood is flowing from this organ away to certain kind of organs, certain organs. We can even name it. We should be able to name the organ. Okay, blood, now I can feel it. My blood is going from my heart towards my left arm, towards my right side, or towards my diaphragm. So we should be able to feel it. That's the level of concentration and depth he's trying to teach us. It is amazing, obviously, and very, to me, a little bit scary as well. Not in a negative sense scary, means obviously you have to be very deep in that to understand that kind of concentration and to see that. It's not easy. The next exercise, this exercise is very useful for, I believe so, most of us. I'm going to need it a lot, and I haven't practiced it, and I will practice it tonight definitely, because I read it before making the notes and I thought that I'm going to do that, but as I said to you, when I repeat it to you people, I get it more infused in myself as well. The same knowledge I get more infused when I'm explaining it to you rather than just I'm making notes and reading it. Okay, so what the next exercise, it is telling us that how to control your sleep. Even the writer even says that with this exercise, some people with insomnia even can get benefit at least. So what he says that it put a glass of water, transparent glass of water in front of you and see the water in it. See how still the water is, the calmness of water, the still state of water. Now when you're looking at it, the next step is to bring yourself, your emotions, your muscular movements, your insight, your flow of blood, your mind to that level. That's the state you have to understand. You have to bring your level, your inner state equivalent to that water in the glass. Why? Because when you are having a glass of water on a table that is in front of you, that is totally still. It has no color, no taste, no motion, nothing in it. Nothing in it. Water is like nothing. It doesn't taste anything, it doesn't smell anything, it has no movements, it is totally still and you can see through it. So you have to be very transparent and calm in front of you. And when you're watching this for 5 to 15 minutes consecutively, that glass of water in the same state as in the water is there, in the calm state. you will find a very peaceful sleep in there. You will find a very calm state in yourself, and you can get a very good night's sleep with this help. Then the writer says, you have to use your muscular movements very carefully. When he's saying muscular movements, before we were talking about hands, knees, neck, shoulder, what we make every day with our instinctual habits. But now he is talking about the next part of movements of our facial expressions. What he is saying, these eyebrows we make up and down when we're talking about like this and normal expression, we make these kind of expression, we anger expressions or hastily like excited expression. Sometimes we make these expression involuntarily and unwantedly, unnecessarily. The most important word is unnecessarily. We make these expressions. So whenever we're making these expressions, we have to keep note of them. And at the end of the day, we have to analyze this, where I made the mistakes. And then with this practice of self-analyzing and those movements of our facial muscles, we can improve our personality a lot better than others. And we do not understand that by controlling the expressions, we can control the room. That's the best thing he is telling. I've read in this book, I don't know if it's the next point or this one, it's related to that. A man with control on muscle of face and eyes command the room. So yeah, that's the line I'm telling you about, that you will be able to control the room because people will not be able to judge your expressions, that what are your feelings, what are your reactions according to your expressions of the face. Because 99% of the people, when we react to them, we act towards them, we see their facial expression, which way they are going to respond to us. That's how we judge. But if you master your expressions, no one will be able to judge you. That's where they leave the space for you, because you are in command then, because no one can judge you, no one can predict your reaction. So you are in command then. In the next part, the writer is saying you can even control your desires, your wishes, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. For example, if you wish not to eat for a certain time, because for example you are on diet, I am on diet right now, so 50-50. So what you have to do is, if you feel like that you are gonna have a food or meal unnecessarily but you want to avoid it, what he wants you to do is picture yourself like you just finished a very heavy meal. Picture yourself. So when you are picturing yourself, it unintentionally release some hormones in your mind, in your stomach, that gives message to your body that you're not hungry anymore. You have just finished a meal, because most of our hunger is for pleasure, not for hunger. We have to eat food to remove the hunger side, not for pleasure. 99% of our food is for pleasure. So to give, and that is all because we are given a signal when we see a food or when we think of a food, a certain kind of food. So this signal has to be interchanged with the feeling that we already filled our stomach with a very bigger plate of meal, and we are filled with that food. So it will change our perception of hunger, and it will give different message to our body, so we will be able to control our food desire. Again, not easy for people who love food like me, very difficult for them. So a lot of people are lucky, they have a control on their diet, their food naturally, and they start blaming others why you're eating. But for people like us who are foodie, trust me, we have to do this intentional exercise again and again and again. And then at one point, you will be able to control yourself like nothing. The next lesson of exercising your mindset, your body, is that you have to give advice to yourself every day. You have to talk to yourself in front of the mirror that you are not a weak link. You are the best in your links. You are the strongest. And you are not going to get what you want. That's the line. Never think you will succeed. You think that you will get what is already yours. You are heading towards what is yours. You're not getting something that is not yours. That means that's everything. When we begin the podcast, in the beginning of these lectures, we said to you that everything is within you. So you are already succeeded. Always talk in the present sense that you are already there and you are getting what you already have. So you should always be stronger and a disciplined soul towards yourself, a teacher towards yourself. You should not be letting other teach you. You should be telling yourself that you are the best and repeat it to yourself intentionally in a very positive way, not in an arrogant way. There is a fine line between confidence and arrogance. So you have to be very vigilant on that you use this energy with exercise, developing self-confidence in you every day. So guys, in the end, I really need your feedback, your help, so you can help me improve for yourself, because no one is perfect. I'm not claiming to be perfect. I am requesting you so you can help me getting better for yourself, because the more I get better, the more I will be able to inform you of the things in a more proficient way, more knowledgeable way, more easier way. My aim is not to go through books only. It is to pass you that knowledge in the humanly understanding way, not in a literary way. Hope that makes sense. Thank you very much for your help again. Process. That is the thing that has broken our society today and made us where we are. What we see is everything has a happy start, happy process, happy ending, happy steps. No. Life is hardship. You will never see a good thing coming out of a comfort zone. Never. Show me one thing good that has come out of a comfort zone. Means good in terms of really good, not only overnight success in money from some artificial scams or anything. No, I said good, coming out of a comfort zone. Never have ever any big man in the history of mankind achieved anything big in the comfort zone or in the happy zone. Never. So, most men see obstacle to lose courage. Most people are beaten before even start. We don't even start. We are even scared. In the last video, we talked about fear. You see, when we see a pathway, a destination, we just unintentionally, with a fear factor, we just start calculating the obstacles. We don't see that the joy is in those obstacles, not the destination. So before even starting for a particular pathway, a destination, we just stop because of the fear of facing those obstacles, that okay, it will hazard our happiness or our comfort zone. So 99% of the people, they don't even start. And rest of the 1% who start at the very first obstacle, most of them, they give up. So you have to come to an understanding first that obstacles are going to be there. They are the part of our life. They are the part of success. Success is not success without obstacles or hardship. It is not success. It was just there for you on the plate. So the next part, start out with idea that road is going to be clear for you. The next line is very beautiful. And if it is not, you will clear it. That's the best part. So in the beginning, what the writer is saying, you have to make an understanding and come to your terms that, okay, it's very easy. It's easy peasy. I'm going to go and achieve that target. The road is going to be clear. There's no humps, no bumps, no struggle. Just full race on, throttle full on the car. That's it. I'm going to be on the finish line. That's the beginning state, because that gives the power to your mind to start up. But on the pathway also, you have to understand and train your mind. If it is not clear, doesn't matter, I will not give up. I have to complete that road trip. I have to remove all the obstacles. I have to go through the race. How many obstacles? Doesn't matter. Even if it's only obstacles on the road, I will remove them myself. I will find a way to go across them or above them or break them. That's what you have to think. Only then you achieve wealth in terms of materialistic or mindset or divine wealth. So people do not lack strength, they lack will. Again, where we started, it's coming to the same point. Will, W-I-L-L. Your will is the main ill we have, because our will is so sick and weak that we cannot do anything. So that just came to my mind all of a sudden. I have to repeat it. Your will is the main ill we have. So you have to get rid of this sickness of weak will. You have to train your will intentionally. It doesn't come by default. You have to train intentionally to achieve the target. The next part he says, there is no such thing as failure for a man doing his best. That's a very good line. It triggers me for another video I saw somewhere that says that in human life, we start saying and listening from people that, okay, if you do your best, that's all you need. Even if you haven't succeeded, you will be achieving something. But I heard a video about this. I was listening and I saw that video. I do remember, I don't want to mention the name, that might be a bit controversial, but I do remember watching this video where the guy was saying the universal law is if you really try your best, there is no way you get a failure. But it has to be the best of you. The best. That is why the writer is saying there is no such thing as failure for a man doing his best. So how can you expect a failure if you actually do your best? If you have a failure, that means there was a gap. So you learned something, that where the gap was. That's the whole point of saying that do your best means, and even if you don't achieve something, you will learn. Means then you learn that you were not doing the best. Means you were giving a gap somewhere in your best. So the next time when you do your best, you will not be having those gaps, and actually you will be doing best, and then there will be no failure. Hope that makes sense. What I will do is I will repeat that in one liner again. If you do your best, there is no way you can fail. That's the mindset you should have, and that's the belief you should have. But the point is you have to give your total best. In the next chapter, the writer is going to teach us how to concentrate with few exercises, with actual daily practices that we can do to achieve that target, what he's been continuously bragging about and discussing and giving us the knowledge. But how to achieve that? That's the main thing. So he has given us some few tips how to actually achieve those targets of concentration, the power of concentration that we can enhance inside ourself. So what he says in the chapter of art of concentration by means of practical exercises. So he's going to give us some few tips and exercises to focus on every day. So our personality is enhanced and we can focus on one target, but slowly it will be happening. As I said to you, it is a chance that 40 times at least you will fail. Minimum. In the very first podcast, I remember that I have mentioned that when you start focusing on one point, minimum 40 times you will fail. But let me tell you one more thing, 2 or 3 times you will try and most of you will leave it. You will not even think that 40 times, that's the minimum ratio that you have to fail. So you will stop after 3-4 times. So keep in mind, minimum 40 to 100 times you will fail before you start concentrating actually. So what he says, select some thought and see for how long you can have it on one point for the concentration part. One thought, keep in mind, and just focus on only one thought. See that how long you can have it. Then he says it is very advisable that when you're focusing on one thought in your mind and keeping only focus on that one point, keep track of an alarm clock next to you. Start a stopwatch next to you, sit down and start the focus concentration on one point. See that with the time frame that how long you're going to do that, how long you are able to concentrate only on one point or one thought, one point of thought. Then you have to keep increasing that time frame. Keep increasing that time frame.
So, writer says the power of concentration is so intense and undermined that it will help you connect and flood it with divine power. So imagine we only hear in fantasies for divine power and that kind of superpower even. So according to the writer, it is a state in which we will be flooded with that power, not even connected to that power, but flooded with that power. Imagine a being as a human being getting a superpower that we only see in fictions. But again, you and me are going to be arrogant and what do you say, a low level state of mind that we are willing to compromise that state to take that power even if it's given to us. We will not even practice a little bit of power of concentration. So with concentration we can achieve that targeted state easily.
And then what he says, it is when we connect with super consciousness. This state of super consciousness is achieved by superhumans. That is why it's called super consciousness. So when you achieve this, you become a superhuman, because it was never attained by normal beings. That is why then you are in a different strata of human beings. That is very rare. So what he says, very few reach that level of concentration. So if very few will reach that level of concentration, that means this is not something easy and easily given even. So by the superpower or the inner self, we attain a level only by mere concentration, nothing else. We don't have to invest anything. We don't have to have six packs. We don't have to have millions of dollars to achieve that. We just need to use ourselves. Means that is possible by every human being on the planet Earth. Doesn't matter in which situation he is. Obviously, it sounds easy. I'm not saying it's like easier than anything. If it was way easier, then every person will have that superpower. They have it inside them. They just have not instigated that power. Everyone has it, according to the writer. The willpower to do that, to achieve that superpower is consumed, or you can say attained by everyone by birth. But to use that, everyone use it differently. Everyone consumes it differently. Everyone portrays it differently, to a different level. Just like a video game, we have different levels. You play more, you get more expert, and then you reach to the final stage. But who plays more? Who puts more concentration? That's the main thing. So it is down to you how much hours and concentration you put in to reach that superpower. And it's within you. You don't need to go outside somewhere. So it is also called cosmic consciousness. This state, when we achieve that target of super consciousness, that is called cosmic consciousness. So in the side of physics, or in terms of fantasies and fictions, you see that when you use the word, when you are way above human level, outside the earth, at that point you start using the word cosmic, because this is not humanly, this is not earthly. That is why it is called divine power, attained with the help of only mere concentration. So he says, once possessed, it is a superpower that was unknown to you before. So that superpower you are having inside you, and you are daring not to use it, and you are running around like a fool. That, okay, I cannot do certain things, I cannot do certain parts of my life. How dare we say that? How belittle we make of ourselves? Not only to others, to ourselves. We have to self-analyze ourselves. What a fool we are making of ourselves when we have everything inside us. Furthermore, the writer is now pushing us towards not only making a mind of doing things that will help us attain that superpower, but he will be guiding us further onwards. How to, not only just pushing us that we should strive for that superpower, we should just focus on inside to become a superhuman being. That anyone can do that, as we discussed. So you can do that. You can be a superpower, having a superpower person, but you already are. It's just like, how do I put in this easy words, that you have something in you, you have some power in you, but you are being lazy enough not to use it, not to take the control of that power. You have given the remote control to the outer world, to the instigations and livelihood and brightness of this outer world, and you have pushed yourself to a dungeon where you telling your superpower, no, I don't want to use you. I have it, I want to keep it inside, but I will never use it. I'm so arrogant enough, I'm so lazy enough, I'm so dull enough to accept that I have it inside me, but I will still not use it. I will run for the otherworldly things, to use that and to crave for that and to look upon them as I'm a person beneath them. In the previous chapter, if you remember, he said that, and you will go through another chapter with me in the future, that we are living gods among gods. That means, if the writer says that we are gods, that means imagine the superpower we are having. We are so arrogant enough, we are getting ourselves beneath the human level even. not even the level of gods, beneath the level of humans. So what he says, we should be going for the morning sunrise. Writer says morning rays, sun rays are one of the best energy source for us. For example, when I was reading this line, I just came to a vision of a what do you say, a movie that you all are aware of, Superman. Where does he get his energy from? He's from Kryptonite. He is from another planet. His energy is inside. His weakness is Krypton or Kryptonite, whatever the name is there right now. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm reading the books and I'm explaining you out of some comic books and learning deliberately using those words. I cannot get around the word, the material he uses, Krypton or Kryptonite. So, but the energy of Superman comes from sunlight. He has developed all his energy, and when he's away from sun rays, he's weak. When he goes on a planet where there is no sunlight, he cannot have his superpower. So I believe that just while I was doing this podcast and recording this one, this came to my mind. That means if the writer is saying that, and the Superman is coming out now in this century, and the book is older than that, that means it was already established that sun rays are so important for humans to achieve superpowers. I am trying to make a simile from the current world and from the philosophy of the old world that I am reading. That it was already established that sun rays give us superpowers. That is being translated in our comics, and all these superpowers we can attain. But we foolishly want to see them in someone else and just blaming us and keeping ourselves in the audiences when we can be the main player with the superpower. So what he says that sun rays are one of the most powerful things. In the morning, early morning, we should open windows, inhale the fresh air and take the sun rays and turn that into our superpower. After that, he says, we should be focusing on the day-to-day activities. Once it's evening time, we should be focusing on the things that we were not able to perform during the daytime. That is the time we have to analyze, calculate, and self-criticize ourselves. So with this part, we will be finishing this episode. And in the next part, the most important thing is coming up with the exercises. Now we'll be discussing further exercises, how we can increase the power of concentration. So, but before that, what he says is that the last part we're going to discuss is that control your mind before controlling your body, because mind controls the thoughts. So everything comes down to mind. If I want a certain kind of body, I want a certain kind of environment, it has to be done through this part first. Know the physical substance that we are having, the brain, mind inside that. We have to start using it. We should not be saying that we cannot use that, or we are doing some dishonesty when God gave this to us and we are thinking that, okay, we should take it back like this. Otherwise it will be a dishonest thing to use it. So we'll be very happy in front of the God. Okay, I haven't used it. You gave me the way and I'm bringing it back the same way you gave it to me. So we should be using our brain, control our mind, and then eventually once we learn to control our mind, automatically we are able to concentrate. Once we are able to concentrate, we are able to get the beneficial thoughts of superhuman beings, and then we go to the super cosmic consciousness and divine power is given to us and we become superhumans. That's good. Hopefully that makes sense. And thank you very much. Again, need your feedback, where I'm making mistakes, what I should be doing more, what I should not be doing, and if any other books we should be discussing first, because our first 100 books are going to be on psychology and emotions and human superpowers, all related to these things. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot.
So, what he says, the stronger the will, the easier it is to break the habit. Now, here you should understand the difference between will and your current habits. Will is used to change your habits. Habits are already developed inside you. They are not your willpower, what you are doing, how strongly you are doing. Will is the thing that you have to use from your inner self, from your core, to change those habits. And once you are stronger enough to control your inner self, you can easily change whatever you wish to in yourself or from your nervous system. But all depends on motive. You have to start understanding what is the motive of changing a certain habit or adopting a certain habit. One bad habit cannot be changed if you don't have a motive or it is covered by an alternative habit. First, you have to understand what is my motive. Based on that motive, you will start adopting a new habit, and that new habit will overcome the old bad habit. Again, I will repeat it. You have to have a motive, a reason, a direction to create a new habit. Once that new habit is created against an old habit, only then it can cover up the old habit, and then you will be able to use, based on your motive and will, the new habit. Hope that makes sense in an easier word. The next topic that the writer is discussing in this book is business results through concentration. Now, most of us think that we should do a business that should be successful, but just merely thinking is not going to get us there. We should all be doing something valuable in our life. But what if we are doing a business, but most of the things that we do is a form of business in our life? A lot of you are going to think if it is a money side of business, creating a company or something. No. Anything that you do with yourself, in my opinion, that's not the writer saying this particular line. In my opinion, whatever you make yourself do or in your life do, that is part of the business you do with yourself. So whatever you make of yourself or out of yourself every day, that's part of the business you do with yourself. So it's up to you how you want to make it a profitable business out of yourself, or you just want to be useless in terms of business terminology. But whichever kind of business it is, it's worldly business or a business with yourself. Now let's go to the writer's view. What he says is, a successful business is not a result of chance, and neither a failure of a business is a result of luck. So no business you see there is a chance or luck. Even if it's succeeding, it's not by chance. It's a very directed thought by the workers, owners, CEO, and professionals, people who are working on it. And if it fails, there is always a reason that you have not done something right. Only then. But we are very egoistic enough to blame it on something outside us. We are damn egoistic and so ruthless on ourselves that we don't accept the consequences and causes that it was done merely because we were not able to comprehend the situation rightly, and that's the reason it failed. So there is nothing by chance or by luck. We have to understand it is merely because we were not able to concentrate in a particular direction rightly. Now, what the writer says is, desire must be materialized. Business success depends on well-concentrated efforts. The effort, you can work like a donkey, like a labor, in an undirected way, just like a labor force. But if it's in the right direction, with the right mindset, then that thought will be materialized in the physical form. That again brings us back to the power of concentration, the thought that we should have. The next part, he says, set your heart on purpose, direct your thoughts upon it. You do not have to know the exact direction. Now, we cannot predict the future. We should have the aim of the future. We do not have to know exactly ditto copy that this is what exactly has to be achieved in terms of the targets. What he is saying, you must have the will to move forward. As long as you have the vision, the direction, you keep moving forward with your will. You don't stop whatever happens. You keep achieving your target every day. You will reach your final destination. The next part, the writer makes it more interesting. Plan each day activity in advance carefully and you can reach any heights you want. Means planning is very important. You cannot just wake up and say that I will be successful. In the next step, he further escalates it physically. Now he says that if you want your business, either it's your personal business or business with yourself or outside world, whatever you want to achieve in your business or whichever heights you want to take it to, you must in your mind first see that happening physically. You cannot expect a business that is running without a vision automatically happening. What happens in your mind with your thoughts, you have to see it happening physically. You have to visualize it. This is again the power of thoughts and power of visualizations. You have to see that how much target you have to achieve, which heights you want your business to go, what actually it will look like, what will be your bank balance, what will be the physical structure of your business, what will be the manpower of your structure. You have to visualize internally in your mind, in your thought process, in the matter of concentration, not randomly. Just like I am talking to you, I can visualize anything side by side, but that does not make it perfect. What happens is, again, as we discussed before, we have to sit down separately in terms of our concentration practice. Once we are sitting down in a separate place, manually, intentionally focusing on that part where my business should be. Close your eyes and visualize it and then see the effect. It will happen if you do it every day with that visualization. You will see your business going that way and materializing it in that form. The next chapter in this book is every man's favorite word, courage. So we will talk about that every day with our friend circle. Oh, he's a very courageous man. I want to be courageous. We talk to us ourselves about this word and this capacity and capability. But to develop this faculty in this side of our mindset, we have to work intentionally. Again, everything that we develop has to be intentional. Only then we achieve it. The rest is all a fallacy, all a dream world. So now the writer says, concentrate on your courage. Courage is the backbone of a man. The word, whenever you see the word from the very history, it is associated with man. I know a lot of you will be saying it should not be only facilitated with the simple pinpointing with a man, but in terms of literature, it is a capacity associated with man. Obviously, a woman can be courageous, a man can be courageous, but in terms of literary sense, whenever a word courage is uttered, you always associate it with a man. It's defined like that in the history, but in the modern world, it is associated with male and female both. Now here, we should not be associating it with male or female. It is derived for both of the genders, for every human or any other gender that is associated there. It can be used for anyone as long as you are alive, human, having a brain working and going towards a goal. Now, how does it say that? It says, courage is the backbone of a man. Courageous man has confidence. He puts his belief in action. A courageous man does not mean he is ready to do anything or he is not afraid of anything. He puts his belief in action. He visualizes things, then he put that belief and thought process into action. He does not procrastinate. He actively endeavors the task to do in action. He believes that if he does a certain kind of action that he has visualized, he will achieve his target. He will be going through the hurdles, but eventually, because of those continuous actions, the steps that he is doing with the help of his courageous situation or mindset that he is putting belief into, he will be reaching that target. Now, the next part is very important. Look upon everything in your power as a possibility instead of probability. Most of the things are run in this world, especially nowadays, is based on probability. What we do mathematical calculations. We forget about the power of our brain, our nervous system, our mindset, our inner self. We totally rely on maths. What happens when we are totally relying on maths? That holds our courage, that stop us from taking some major step that we are capable of. But because of that mathematical calculation, of that probability factor, we stop ourselves. We do not take risk. You should know that how a man is defined. A man is defined by the risks he take. Because if the man has not taken a risk to send a rocket to the moon, we will still be sitting on a donkey. If he has not taken the courage to try again and again of flying that airplane that was going and crawling in the mud for a long time, he would not have been given us the chance to fly. I have read somewhere that Wright brothers, when they were trying this plane, obviously before them there were few attempts there to do that, but when they were trying, one of the brother was very disheartened, and the other brother, one of the brothers, he came to the brother who was disheartened, and he said to him, "Don't worry, brother. I have always and already visualized us flying in that plane already, and it will happen. So don't get disheartened." He already visualized it happening inside the air, sitting in that plane, going in the air for a longer time. This is called the power of visualization, concentration, and then having the courage to do that into action. That gives us the biggest thing in the history of mankind. Since we exist, everything that has been achieved was done with the courageous step. Courageous step means action with courage. That was done. In the next part, the writer says lack of courage. Before that, he was discussing about the presence of courage. Now he's saying if there is a lack of courage, that will destroy your confidence. Because if there is no courage, all the actions we are doing, they are not directed by our mind. They are involuntary actions that we do unintentionally because of our habits. Now, if there is no courage, there is no confidence to do anything. And when we don't have courage, imagine yourself in a situation very fairly, no partiality with yourself. So you're sitting and just, I'm not judging you, I don't know who you are, you don't know anyone is judging you or not. Just critically analyze yourself. That when you don't have courage, you start acting in a cowardly way and you lose a lot of positive actions that you could have done, and you know that yourself. And you are not able to do that. Then at the end, what do? You start blaming luck. This is what the writer is saying. Men like that, who don't have courage and lack confidence, they start blaming luck for anything that they cannot achieve. They start blaming luck. So you have to raise above that level. In the next part, what he says, courage is the will to do. Again, everything comes down to your inner self, the will to do. You have to understand what is courage. Courage is not like just valiantly doing anything. No, it is a will that you develop in yourself, and how strongly you use that will power to do certain actions and to achieve certain target. To do that, you have to do certain small steps again and again and again whenever you are falling and failing behind. So, the next part he said, cowards dissipates both mental and moral forces, therefore inviting failures. The next quotation he says is very, very nice. You should see that. Never let any other's opinion to tell you what you can or cannot do. This is a very common thing that we see every day, and we listen from our elders since we were childhood. Never let anyone else to tell you that you can do something or not do. Only tell yourself always. Keep repeating to yourself whatever you want to achieve. Trust me, you will definitely. And I myself is the epitome of that. In myself, I can internally say that I have achieved those things internally in my mind, and I have courage to say certain things to you, in fact live, that I want this channel to be the best channel that is explaining you the knowledge, not just randomly discussing the name and what this book is all about. I want you to explainable in a way, myself be explainable in a way to you, that you will benefit the best possible way, that no one else has gone through that knowledge, explain you in the most easiest possible way, easiest and humanly possible way, that every human of any level or any education can understand that and absorb that. That's what my goal is in the whole world, and I will achieve that. So I'm not ashamed or afraid of showing that courage. But there should be a fine line between courage and foolishness. You should be in a very reasonable way courageous, and then have a will to visualize that courage and action that you want to perform, and then it will be materialized itself. The writer says, actually, you do not know yourself. If you knew yourself, what kind of a machine you are and what you are capable of, you will never even be questioning yourself or even thinking of not achieving something. What you should be doing is, you should be putting yourself to test. Until you test, you don't know your limits. And trust me, 99.999999 and even 9999% of us never test ourselves, because we are so afraid to have the courage to put ourselves to test, even not even to accept. We deliberately degrade ourselves by not putting ourselves to test. So the writer says, you should not allow others to influence your courage. Who are others to tell us that what we can or what we cannot do? They don't know our capacity. If they are not using their will, why should we not? Why shall we not have the courage to do that? We should be the decision makers and converters of our destiny and our fate ourselves. This is within us. We are the epitome and the consequence of our own decisions, our own will. But we let it just slide through that ourselves and give it in the hands of others. How ironic and petty of us. We do not feel pity on ourselves because we feel ashamed of ourselves. And again, we start blaming the fate, the destiny at the end, because we did not take the decision right. The next part is very important. The first word the writer is going to tell you is going to instigate something, some chills in you. Fear. Fear paralyzes energy that brings success. Fear is the worst enemy we have. We have the fear that shatters our confidence. Fear is the thing that says, if I do this, if I take this step, I might lose, I might stumble down, I might just go down in the pathway. So what? What we don't understand is, if we take the actions, we are way ahead in testing even. We are way ahead than other people that people have not even tried. If we don't put ourselves to test, for example, if I want to reach here, and I am testing from starting from here, even if I don't reach this level, by trying only I'll be reaching this. And if I'm successful, I will reach this, but if I'm not successful, I am here. So either way, I have grown myself up just because I did not fear in a positive way. Fear does not mean that we should be doing some foolish things. That is the difference of a wise and intellectual person. You have to first calculate, visualize, and then start acting on it. And that is done with courage and with no fear. So, fear is the destructive force that does not allow us to reach our target ever. Most of our potential is dissipated and destroyed because of this bad thought of fear, that feeling that we have in ourselves. This is just a feeling. If we just remove this feeling with the habit of overcoming certain confidence building habit, we will be achieving so many things you can't even imagine. You will be. Take one small step of courage today or tomorrow, but small, not something like blunt that destroys something. Means something positive in a courageous way. Try doing that for 10 times, 10 days. You will see a totally new you. The last part of this chapter is, courage, like cowardice, is contagious. So if you are surrounded by coward people, you will always be a coward. But contrary to that, Again, I have made the best notes for you that I'm sharing with you, that knowledge. If you surround yourself with courageous people, it will be contagious. You will have no choice to adopt it or to give it. If you become courageous, you will spread it around you. But if you're surrounded by coward people, you will somehow absorb that energy. Somehow. So try making your surrounding and your surroundings energies. Not energy, energies. Because, for example, if you're surrounded by 5 people, 3 people, they are all having different kind of energy. Try to see the energy, try to analyze that energy, and then try to absorb only a level of energy that you want to. Wherever you see a differ from that level of courageous energy, reject it. Don't absorb it. But be contagious for the positive and courageous energy. Be contagious. Hopefully, that gives us a positive step towards action and plan and thought and concentration and courage and power. Thank you. Thank you guys for listening. All the things that I have tried my best to explain you in this podcast, and I will respect your opinions, either positive, negative. Please do help me on improving this podcast, because I am going through every single line of book and going in depth of their meaning to explain you, so you don't just go through the lines, you absorb the meaning of it. I will appreciate your feedback, your likeness, dislikeness, and how I can improve myself and yourself with the help of this podcast. Please give me your feedback. Thank you very much again. See in your current situation that how calm you are, how realist you are, if you accept the reality. So the next thing is, through my willpower, I dare do what I want to do. That's a quotation, quote unquote, I'm reading. Again, through my willpower, I dare do what I want to do. So that's a challenge to yourself, to your will. I dare myself and I do that what I want to do. So the circumstances are not changing me. I am changing them, because when I change my will to do things. So if you have a quick temper, he says, you can control it by counting opposite from 10 to 1, 100 to 1, because it takes extra concentration, extra will to do that. So you will divert your mind. So these are small exercises he's telling, but I'm not into that kind of things. I don't relate to that. Obviously, it's my opinion. That's what we have to discuss here, is what writer is saying. So you should see yourself as others see. So here in this book, according to this book, the writer is saying that you should see that how others see you from their perspective. Then you should write a book about yourself, or a letter about yourself, that how you are portrayed in the real world. Then you keep repeating that book. Read that book again and again. Then you write another book that how you want to be portrayed. Look, there are 2 things he is asking you to write right now. One, how others see you right now. And the other thing he is asking you to write down, how you want others to see you. Most important is that how you want others to see you, not how others are seeing you right now. So you keep writing a journal of the things that you want to be portrayed as. Then the most important things coming after that. What is that? You have to keep reading that journal again and again. What happens? Your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind absorb that reading when you're repeating that journal to yourself. So your unintentional mindset start repeating those things into your physical realm. You start acting like that unintentionally. So automatically you are perceived in the outer world the way you want to be. Let's break it down into easy word in 2 lines. Write what you want to be. Repeat that. Repeat again and again, every day and night. Keep it with you in your pocket. Whatever you write about you, what you are, say it in the present word, that I am the best person. In terms of personality, in terms of intelligence, in terms of interaction with people. Keep repeating that. Keep it in your pocket. Keep repeating that. And trust me, you will subconsciously start repeating that in the physical actions. So, continuing the same part about the willpower, the writer says there is no monopoly about the willpower from the nature side. So if we say that I have more willpower, you have more willpower, or someone else has less willpower, it's wrong. It's all about some of us will be using it more and some of us will be using it none at all. So that means, again, it comes down to your decision. Once you decide it, for example, I'm going to give you example of the current situation. While I was making this podcast for you people, just like 10 minutes before that, I was in a state of just going to sleep. And I said that I promised myself in the morning that even last night that I will be making this podcast today, definitely. But I was inside the bed right now, like 10 minutes before making this podcast. And then I jumped out of the bed. Literally, I had to do it intentionally. I had to do because I promised myself I will do it today. So there was no other option I was giving to myself. There was no other person who was pushing me for that to jump out of the bed and do that, sitting in front of the camera and just give this whole knowledge to you and motivate you as well to harness this power inside your mind. But I jumped out, I made the decision, I used my willpower to sit down here and do it for you and for myself as well. Because the more I spread this knowledge to you, the more I feel empowered in myself. So I am using my willpower to break the barrier of going to sleep again. So it is down to you. So that willpower, if I use it more or I use it less, it's down to me. So again, another very important quote he's saying, each person will be supplied just the amount of willpower that he demands. The same amount of willpower will be given to you what you demand from yourself and from the inner self, the center of yourself. You ask it. I dare you, I challenge you, tell me in the comments if you have decided anything that is humanly possible, even if in your mind it's not possible and you have decided it, you start doing it. How dare you say that you cannot do that? Even the least capable person that he himself says that is least capable or thinks other things that he is will be able to do the most capable thing human can ever think of. I dare you. Challenge me. As I said in the last podcast, the only thing that can hamper you from maximum from anything is a physical disability. Apart from that, everything is a damn excuse that you are making to yourself. I dare you, do that. Do that challenge to yourself for a smaller thing that you've been procrastinating for a long time. Do that. And if you are not able to do that, I dare taking any challenge from you then. Next part is concentrated mental demand. The mental demand is the power of your mind that you command. You command your thoughts to make it practical. You are the commander of your thoughts. You are the one who will command your visions, and then it comes to your practical reasoning, and then you implement them in the real world. So the first part is going to be to mentally comprehend that vision, that thought. So mental demand is so powerful that it can make you do anything you want. In fact, it is so powerful, so much powerful that try it sometime. You will be able to impart your thoughts onto others without even talking to them. Sometimes it happens. It seems so fun, and sometimes it seems so dangerous and interesting. And please try doing that. In fact, you must have seen these things sometimes. Every human has gone through this experience sometime in life that we think of something so intentionally, with intensity, so powerful emotions that it is imparted to others' brains, and we see it coming from them automatically, and we see that how is it possible they are thinking the same thing? Because our mental demand, mental power is pushing that thought to the other side. This is how much powerful the brain is, the mind is. Brain is a physical entity that we will go into depth into another book, but this mind power, the mental demand, the thoughtful process of concentration is so powerful that it can make things happen without even speaking out. The next lesson in this book is concentration gives mental poise. Means you have to be at peace. The mental peace is the key. When we're talking about mental capacity, thinking in depth, a lot of people start thinking that we have to put a lot of pressure on our mind. We have to just be like congested and putting pressure and exercising our mind in a difficult way. No. The key is first you have to be at peace with yourself, with your mind, your inner state. Only then you can achieve the strength of the mental poise, the strength of the power of concentration. Without the inner peace, you cannot even concentrate. A lot of people think that we have to stress ourselves, we have to be in a very ruthless manner pushing ourselves towards a central part or central target, whatever we want to achieve. No. First, you have to come in terms with your inner self at peace, because peace is the first thing that you have to attain to achieve any level of concentration or highest level of divinity. Okay, so think of yourself, the writer says that think of yourself as a child of infinity, having or possessing the power of infinity, doing anything or having the possibility of doing anything you want. Write down about yourself that you have the power to be anything, to do anything. Only then you can achieve that target. You have to write down intentionally about yourself. Means the peace is in yourself, the capacity is in yourself, the concentration power is in yourself. So this is what I'm talking about from the very beginning of the podcast, that everything is within you, but we keep asking the solution from without. The solution is within. Whatever I want to do, I know it within myself only if I take peace and concentration inside myself. I look inside myself for the answer. Trust me, each one of you know your answers. You bloody don't want to take a step for 5 minutes of concentration even. I dare. It is so difficult in the beginning that you will give up so many times to do a concentrated effort on yourself even. Everyone will give up. It's not only you. The next part says that the concentration gives mental poise. Means the peace of your mindset is achieved by only concentration, because we read that concentration is achieved by calmness, by focusing, by meditating. So if you achieve those things, that means you get towards the level of peace. It's easy to say. Trust me, the more I read books, the more I feel like actually it is so difficult, but it is so easy at the same time. The only difficulty is the consistency of keep doing that thing to achieve that level. Let's do it. So the next thing he says that without peace there is no mental concentration. Think of yourself as a child with infinity power. Means you can do anything. Think of yourself as it is, that you can do anything, you can be anything. You have the power to dictate your destiny. Write it down as a child, whatever you want to become, in a positive way, with the harmony of your inner self, at a calm stage. Then see the magic. Next he says that write on a piece of power, I have the power to do whatever I wish to do and be. To do and to be. Then he says never take your business home, because it will never let you be at peace. It is very difficult. We see a lot of businessmen every day crying over business every time, even if it is 12 o'clock in the night. A lot of people here are gonna very much disagree with me. In fact, I myself will disagree with me. That's a very ironic thing, because this is what I used to believe, that to reach to a certain level you have to be insanely unorganized in a way that you are only focused on one thing, and then you cannot take anything along with you. And that 90% of the influencers or podcasters or the speakers will say that you have to be trust me, you have to be insane at what you do. This is the part they are right at. But the next part they don't understand is they have to tell you that there are ways or mental capacity you have. You can manage a lot of other things along with that insanity in your target. Because to reach your targets where no one else is reaching, you have to be insanely focused. But you, in times, to keep your sanity, you have to take time out separate for separate things. Even if it's smaller, the main time frame is this much. Even if you're giving this much to something else, that has to be totally for that particular relation or thing that you do. You cannot mix up things and expect results in a positive or productive way. So never mix up things. So, for example, I was, before I go to the next point, I was listening to one video from Jim Rohn. Everyone knows about him. He said that if you're going to a beach, go to the beach. Enjoy it. Don't take your work briefcase there. Don't do that. Don't focus on any work when you're on a beach. When you work, work. So it's a very common phrase, you work hard, you play hard. So actually it is the thing that I abide by. When you're working, you work like crazy. Your brain should be contemplating things like no other damn person on the planet Earth will see this vision, what I am seeing, or whatever, the way I'm going to do this. But when you're playing it, you know what I mean, when you're playing in your own world, for pleasure, for peace, for calmness, with any relations you have, it can be your family, your kids, your partner, your girlfriend, anywhere, your brothers, your boys, anywhere you're doing that, do it fully. Take that part fully as well, because that is one part of building of your personality. Because that, if you are exactly the same way you want to be in that particular realm, in that particular frame, then you will be in the other part as well complete. People think that there is an insanity that you cannot be complete. Why? Why? You are human. You are the best built machine ever. If you are unsuccessful in one thing or 10 things and you are successful in the one thing only, I believe that you are not doing something good or right. So you have to be insanely sane. So if it was so easy, we will not be discussing. You have to intentionally prove to yourself that how you can achieve this target. Now, moving to the next part, he says it is a big mistake to let a thought rule you instead of ruling it. So he's saying stop complaining about a fearful thought, a distressful thought, a situation. So you cannot be complaining about that, about the situation, because the situation is not going to be worse. It's you who's going to be worse. The situation is always the same. Whatever you do, the situation is or always will be the same. So that means it's you the situation is impacting on, not the situation. The results, the impact, the outcomes of the situations or the solutions are going to be the same. So that means whatever is changing is your reaction to it. For example, yesterday only, last night, I was talking to one of the person. He was just discussing with me about his situation at work. He was whining a little bit, a person close to me. He was whining a little bit about his work situation. I said to him one thing after listening all about the things he said that. I said, I'm going to give you a shortcut to solve your problems. And obviously he was alert to see that I'm going to give him a magic pill to sort out his solution. There was only one solution I gave him, that there is no bloody shortcut. You have to go through the hassle of changing your attitude towards the situation. The situation which you are in, every other person is facing that. You are not a new person in this situation. That means you have to work on yourself to calm yourself, keep yourself composed, and then rectify the solution from inside you. Visualize that, what is the best possible situation I can be into, and then narrow down in one line, and then try to act that way intentionally. I always say you have to do it intentionally. Automatically it's not done. Then you will be into a totally different outcome or solution with your calm personality. Let's do that. Now, this is where the writer ends this chapter. You have germs of success in you. Change your negative thoughts into the positive ones. Now, cultivate art of feelings. You make other feel of you what you feel of yourself. Very accurate. So if I am feeling happy, people will start thinking, yes, I am happy, even if I am not happy. So that means pretending to be intentionally for a certain things gives the impression to others. So from inside, if I am portraying an energy of something on others, they will start making an image of me in the same way. So it is down to us how we want others to see us or portray us. So it is down to us again. Your willpower, your concentration, your power to show others that what you want to be portrayed as. So think, speak and act what you want to be, and you will be what you want to be. I will not repeat this. You will have to rewind and take the gist out of it. This is the gist of the whole chapter. So now give me some comments, give me some feedback, whatever I've done wrong, good things, you can say that I'm not bothered about that because I'm in the beginning of the journey, and let's keep doing this to the end. End means to the eternity, till I'm alive. I'll be keep doing this. I'll be going through the books and the best knowledge and keep repeating it to you, because every time I repeat it, it makes more sense to me. So I'm getting more stronger. I feel more energy in that. But please help me on this one, giving me comments, the feedback that what I'm doing right and wrong, and most importantly, what I should be doing more to take it to the next level. And if you have any recommendation for particular books, let's discuss that. I will go through those books and discuss. Thank you very much for your patience. Anything, how beautiful and how scary it is also, just by these three words. The next chapter is about thought, the thought process, how we think about things and our surroundings, our just described in my description, in my analysis and discussion with you people. So let's move on to the next part, the crazy part. As I said to you, every time the new book is going to be much better than the last one, because I'm going to increase the intensity of my research on it for you. So the next book we're going to study now is The Power of Concentration. The power of concentration, we have heard about concentration and we know different definitions of concentration as per human beings know that in normal life. But in this one, again, my beautiful notes I have made there. So what the writer is going to describe, I'm going to just describe in my easy words so you can absorb and contemplate in your daily life easily. So what he says, in order to accomplish something, we must concentrate. Obviously we know that, but the next part is that very few of us are able to do that. Ask yourself, are you able to do that very precisely or in a productive way? Do you do that every day? No. The answer, the fair answer, not the answer, the fair answer is going to be no. Why? Because to do that, the writer says that's a very animalistic thing he says here. Maybe you can agree or not, because I'm discussing what the writer says, not only my view and my perception. So what writer says, the man that is apparently suited best for a place does not always fit in best. Why? We never fit in best on certain roles. Though we apparently appear that we are best suited for this, we are best suited for that person or this role or in this position, but we are not, because it's not our capacity, our capability. It is the concentration level we put in there. But the next thing that he tells us, it's going to blow your mind, that how can we be best suited for a particular position. What he says is, a man is a wonderful creation, but he must be trained and developed to be useful. Listen to that again. Man is a wonderful creature, but he must be trained and developed to be useful. So that means we are very animalistic in nature. We are not able to control ourselves in a predefined way. So we let loose of ourselves and we think we want to do what we want to do, what we wish to do. And this happens to all of you as well. To me, to you, we randomly wander around in the world and do things that we think we are deciding, but we are not training our mind in a ritualistic way. Ritualistic means in a disciplined way. So we have to be disciplined. By whom? That's the best answer. Ask yourself, whom? If someone else is disciplining us, that means we become slave. So the best answer is we have to be trained by ourselves. If we train ourselves, we are happily being trained and we adopt that more enthusiastically and we get productive for any role in the world. So guys, the next part is concentration finds its ways. Means if you concentrate or I concentrate on a thing, there will always be a way. For example, the writer says that no man has to ever do what he does not want to do. Means we always blame circumstances. If we wish or we will, W-I-L-L, not will and shall, we will, our will does not allow it to be done by us. That act cannot be performed. So that means we have to concentrate and master our will. So, how strong are you with your will? Not stubborn. A lot of people will confuse Strong will with stubbornness is totally different thing. So you have to ask yourself, am I a stubborn person or is it my will making me do it? So you have to differentiate a lot of aspects. If it was so easy, the books would be written on these topics. So you have to self-analyze yourself, critically analyze yourself. Then he says, opportunity never seeks us or comes to our door. We have to seek it. Means some of the lazy people like me, they just say that opportunity will come to us. We have to go out. We have to create opportunities. One of us will be sitting down there and just compromising on the life, the whole life and the opportunities by just crying over it that I didn't get any opportunity. And the other person, under the same circumstances or even in the worst circumstances, will be going out, grabbing that opportunity and making something big out of it, only because he had the control of his will to go out and act on it, not just procrastinating and waiting on it, just like we do usually. So ask yourself, question yourself if you're willing to do that, if you have the courage to do that. Because as I said to you in the beginning, is only you against you. You don't have to do things full time, regularly. You have to do things full heartedly, rather full time. That will make you a complete man, complete person in your life. I repeat that again. You have to do things wholeheartedly, rather full time. So imagine yourself in which situation you are in and then analyze yourself. Then what you have to do is, you can only teach a person till his doomsday, but he will only learn what he learns himself. So if I teach you, if I give you the best lessons from the best books of the world, you will still gain nothing. You can just give a like and a watch of this podcast, of this video, of the shorts of my videos. You still will say, oh, this guy is giving a hell lot of knowledge to us by reading. Not allow it to be done from the by us scholars, best researchers. But what's the benefit if you are not acting on it? You're still zero. You're still zero, because obviously I'm gaining from it. I'm trying to implement it, because the knowledge grows when you share with others, and I'm growing with it. But are you implementing that on yourself? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So then he says, what we have to do to change ourselves is, on the first of every month, we have to sit down and critically analyze ourselves, that whatever I promised myself in the last month, have I achieved that target? If yes, that's good. If not, there are two things. One thing we have to do is, we have to again make our will stronger to act on that part. That very few of us will do that. But the next have to create opportunities. One of us will do. And you will realize we have done in the past very much. I've done that in the past very much. And you can relate that, making excuses. Now, that's the easiest part, to give up and making excuses of what we were not able to do that. What you were not able to achieve, analyze yourself, what mistakes you have done to lose that part from your life. So, if you have done some mistakes, take the accountability, use that, and then act on it to be the best version of yourself in the next month. And then on the first of next month, sit down again and analyze. Hope that grow you towards one step closer towards your destination. So guys, most of the things, according to the writer, is possible. Whatever we think impossible, probably 99.9999% relatively they are possible. It's just that we are not willing to do the effort. So the harder the thing, the better the results and the rewards are. So it depends how big the thing we achieve or how big we strive, the bigger the reward we get. So the writer says that secret of success is to always improve yourself. No matter how hard is the thing, you keep improving yourself day by day, step by step on it. There is nothing that stops you. That's damn sure you're gonna achieve it. You have tried many things in your life. When the first time you started writing, you were not able to write, but we have forgotten the lessons of our childhood. That to start writing, we make mistakes months and months, not even days, months of just one alphabet. Then we make it to the perfection, to the sentences. But we don't want to do it anymore. It should be the opposite. The more we grow older, we should have learned better about improving ourselves and having the consistency, but it as we grow, we are doing the opposite of it. We keep forgetting the power of consistency, perseverance. We keep forgetting that. You, me, all of us are example of this. Then the writer says that don't expect anyone to help you. They can only encourage you, that is all. So, the thing that we keep listening, you, me, every day we think about motivation, encouragement. I can do that for you. You can get it from anywhere else. Watch some other videos and you will get the encouragement and motivation from anyone else. But that is the maximum someone can do for you. They're not going to grab your hand and take it to you somewhere else or make you do something physically. The only thing someone can put in your mind is the sensation, the motivation. But eventually, you are the one who's going to tell your mind that it is my will, I'm going to do it, I will achieve it. So eventually, all comes down to your self-adjustment. But most of you are going to be sitting down there and just analyzing the same lines. Yeah, I'm getting motivated. Yeah, let's see, tomorrow I'll do it. And then the same downfall. But I will share one important quotation from this book, and that should be a little bit hurting for people like you and me. Trust me, for both of us. And the quotation says, there is no other handicap other than health that you cannot overcome to be successful. So, listen to this again. There is no other handicap other than health that you cannot overcome to be successful. So, here the writer is telling all of the humankind who are not physically handicapped or having health issues. Even most of them are just made up. So, that means there is nothing, there is no event, no circumstances that you cannot overcome, no situation that you cannot turn around towards success if you don't wish to. That means the success we are waiting for is stopped only by us. I heard somewhere that if you think that someone has ruined your life or someone stopped you from success, definitely you're right. And that is you. You have done it to yourself. So keep pushing yourself every single damn day. Not one moment by watching some video for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, having your mindset going into that zone. You do it every day, watching and scrolling YouTube and TikTok, everything. But what are you doing practically to improve every day? Because motivation is not the key. The discipline, the will, consistency, perseverance, existence of the same steps again and again and again. That is the thing you need. So guys, the next part is self-mastery, self-direction, your concentration on yourself. Self-mastery is the art of success because this gives the direction to your emotions and to your physical self. So the writer says, man must learn to control not only his mind but his bodily movements as well. So we say mostly when we react, we say that, okay, what are we looking at? In a calm person who is composed and very efficient in every manner, we try to see his composure in terms of his reactions mentally. But actually, we should always be learning to control our hand movements, our neck, hands, legs, jerking of the body parts. So these all movements are part of our emotional reactions and controlling power. So some of these can be controlled easily. For example, if you are not able to control your emotions plus your bodily movement, there can be multiple reasons. As per the writer suggests, it can be motor neurons, maybe deficiency of some food or some nutrients. Then it can be your untrained mind that can easily be trained. Or it can be your impulsive behavior that most of us are guilty of, including me, by the way. So we suddenly impulsively respond to anything that just itches us. So that can be controlled with meditation, with controlled behavior, and by controlling our will. Secondly, the writer also says we can only control our behavior and movements if we struggle on our will. Means we concentrate deliberately on our will, and that only is possible if we keep repeating for the same thing: I want, I need to, and I will. These three things we have to repeat to ourselves. You have to say to yourself to gather that power into your core again and again. You have to repeat, I want, I need, and I will. And then you see the difference. You will achieve it. Definitely, there is no way. And then the writer says, concentration is the strength of mind. You concentrate only when you say, I want to, I need to, and I will. I repeated this line 3 times. You can see the importance of this line. I want, I need, I will. This is the success mantra. So, remember this. Secondly, a person who is impulsive in one moment and calm in the next is not the master of emotions. What he will do is he will be flipping again and again in the best moments of his life. When he is near to the success, he will mess up the mastery of success, the occasions, the opportunities of success, not only for himself, but for the people around him as well. You must have seen a lot in a teamwork when a leader is messing up with his emotions and the whole team goes down into their emotions and they cannot perform the best to their abilities.
Guys, the book we're discussing again, the same book, The Power of Concentration, it's a bit lengthy book, but it was worth it literally, because this is the problem of everyday person, and me, you, everyone. You face the lack of concentration. But in this book, the writer is saying that every wish of ours can be gratified. Is it a magic lamp he has, or we got in our hand? Just mere concentration? Yes, exactly it is. That's what he is saying. And what he's saying, your every wish is gratifiable. Means whatever you are just merely wishing, it can come true, but with the power of concentration only. And that is the most important thing we are lacking. We say that we can concentrate, actually we cannot. In the previous lectures I have said to you that, okay, even if you are trying to focus on one thing while you are in the street or going towards a train station, you will fail initially 40 times minimum. That's the criteria. So imagine how difficult it is to concentrate. So the next thing he's saying is, to concentrate, the first point you have to see is inside your soul. So your soul is the main source of concentration. First you have to learn to see inside. Then he's saying, not only just look inside or try to concentrate, merely just randomly saying things that, okay, I'm focusing on things, I'm trying to think of one thing to achieve that target. No, you have to keep repeating yourself that he said before. Just say, you can, you will, and you must. Imagine the power of these 3 words he's mentioning to repeat. You can, you will, and you must. So these 3 things, you can, you will, and you must, if they join together, you can achieve anything. How beautiful and how scary it is also. Just by these 3 words. The next chapter is about thought, the thought process, how we think about things and our surroundings, our business, our environment. Your thought will make you what you are. The very important line I loved in this one is that your thought will make you what you are. It will make what is surrounding you, your friend circle, your business, your personal life. It's all about your thought. You start changing your thoughts, your surroundings will change, your friends will change, your environment will change. Every result is a consequence of your thought. So, for example, the scientists in the past, this is in the book, I'm not making it up, in the past have done an experiment on a prisoner. So, they got a prisoner who was already on a death row, and it's a very common example. I believe so most of the people have heard about it, but at this point it is very important to mention because it is mentioned in the book as well. So the book says that the scientists in the past have done an experiment on a prisoner where they asked him that if he allows the scientists to put an experiment on him, he might get some extra time on his sentence rather than a death row. So he says, okay, I'm not losing anything. Either way, he was going to die. So what they did is the scientists put him in a dark room
The scientists will put him in the dark room, and what they will do is, and they will tell him that they're going to put a cut on his leg, and the cut is going to bleed all night, okay? And they will keep him in the dark, blindfolding him, he cannot see, he cannot move, he cannot touch the wound. So what they did is, they put a small scratch on his leg, not even a proper bleed. So it was not bleeding or dripping with the blood, but what they did is, they psychologically put a water dropping bucket next to him, pretending to be in his mind that his mind was thinking that's his blood dropping inside the bucket. Actually, it was water dripping down. So his thought process was in the dark room that it is the blood that is dripping from my leg. So whole night he was under the fear, a thoughtful fear. So you can say a fear of his thoughts that he is getting bleeding out. He is bleeding all night. And by the morning he was already dead because of the fear of his blood draining from his body. Imagine the power of thought. So it can be power of thought of a fear or success. So it's down to you that which way you mold your thoughts, towards the fear of success or towards the fear of death. So either way, both extremes are for you. Whichever way you mold it, you will achieve it. We talk about thoughts. We have to talk about silence. Silence is the power that let us think properly. It allows us to think what is the thought process, what we want to think about. It is the powerful place that we have to dive into. But most of the people don't know what silence is. They think that just without any sound, any disturbance, that's called silence. So I will explain you with regards to the writer what he thinks and what he wants us to absorb in terms of silence. He says, look within yourself and you will find the greatest machine ever made. It is necessary to be silent before you can speak wisely. So the greatest machine ever built is inside, not even us. Obviously, as a human body, we are the best machine ever made. But inside us, the mind, the thoughtful process where we do everything, it's our mind. That's the biggest machine ever made. But to do that, we have to be silent. And you will see a lot of people who speak very wisely and intelligently. They have practiced that in silence before a lot of times, before they have spoken any wise words. Trust me, find it, speak to any person and speak in depth. Ask them, have they not practiced that in silence before they speak in the public or to you even? So we have to practice the art of silence, the thought process, separately from the world. And you have to practice it again and again and again. You have to practice it many times. And then you become at a level where you can say that you are above the rest of the peers around you in terms of your mental state, in terms of your thought processes. Another thing is, he says that you have to do practical thought concentration. It has to be practical, not just random and vague thought process. You have to be concentrated on the concentration to achieve the final output. You have to be concentrated on the concentration process, not randomly just sitting silent and trying to think something over. In the next part, the writer says that it is within you that you have the power to think what you want to think. You have the power within you, what you want your mind to give you the answer for. So, what he says is that you have unlimited power to think, and the barriers of ignorance keep ruling you. So, how pity is that on us, on you, that how dare we let the barriers of ignorance ruling us? We know the answer. I heard somewhere that, when we talking about the success formula, the positive thought formula, we all are aware of it. And that was very pinching to me, that we are all aware of it, the formula for everything. You, me, we know that what we have to get up, what we have to do to achieve that. But we are so lazy that we allow these negative thoughts to come on us. It is on us that, but we don't want to take the accountability. So what we do is we let it slide. We just want to blame on others, on the surroundings, on the thought process. But if we want, when the things are going negative, that is the real time, then we have to show it to the world what we are made of, what we are actually. That is the actual time, not in the normal process. So what he says is, when you are in a negative mood, you attract negative thoughts of similar nature through the law of affinity. So as you can see that he's saying the same thing, that we do not allow the negative thoughts to come over us. That's in our control, in our hand. So by your will, you can control so much that your moods change only if you want them to. I was getting a bit aggravated by explaining this thought process, and then I started smiling. Why? For a while, I'm getting angry on this thought. Why I was getting angry on this thought? Because I realized that everything is in my control and still I am not achieving things that I want to. But I switched my mood. I switched it to a smile intentionally. So that means it literally everything surrounding us and inside us is in our control. So the machine built within us has so much potential and power that it can achieve and do anything we want. That means we are the lazy ones. After finishing the podcast, I need your feedback in terms of your comments. Subscribe. Like, you don't like it, doesn't matter. But at least tell me what is wrong with that and what I should add in there. Because I am putting so much effort in it for you. And for myself also as well, obviously. But you should be telling me what I'm doing wrong or where you got the information right and what helped you in a bit. So I can change it every time, because if you help me gain the information about this improvement, what I am thinking is in the future to get live sessions about the books we discuss. So 4 to 5 days we will be doing something like what I'm doing right now. I go through the books and then I give you the original knowledge of the books, not like random prefaces or something, some summary reading from somewhere. I go through the whole books, and then couple of days we'll be doing live sessions and discussing those books live with you with your questions live. So please help me on this one. Greatly thanks again. And now I should tell you why you've been failing in the past. What was the reason that you have been failing all over your past in most of your tasks or achievements, not able to fulfill them? There have been many reasons. So in the next lesson of this book, in which we are discussing your reasoning, there are multiple factors. So guys, you've been failing many times. In fact, we all been failing most of the times in our past. It doesn't mean that you should not fail, as I explained you, but let me explain you the reasoning why you have been failed most of the times when you should not have. So welcome back again in the next episode, and please subscribe, comments, and give negative, positive reviews so I can improve for yourself. Let's start. In this part we will be discussing there are many reasons, and those reasons can be rectified easily. Why? Number one reason, you have started yourself giving yourself bigger tasks. You always want to magnify yourself or see yourself as a Hercules from the very beginning. That should be your task or goal to achieve for the end. But what we do is we try to achieve that part in the very first day that we are Hercules, and when we visualize ourselves, we visualize right. But the steps that we are taking to achieve that